Hello, hello. Oh, I am so excited about this light. Oh, let me see if anybody shows up. Yes, I changed the time for Tuesday teas and blame the lights. So this is only going to happen during the cold season because, as some of you already know, the coldest part of my apartment is where my office is. So it's where I used to make the videos. So when I wake up in the morning, it was really nice to just sit down in my little ottoman with my comforter and record a video. Now I'm standing. I'm not going to do that at 7 a.m. And my husband's asleep at that time, so I can't do it here. So welcome, and whoever just joined, please let me know who you are. I can't see it here on my phone, but welcome to Tuesday Tea with Annie. That was kind of like my prelude. And here's my tea with my usual mug. And like I said the other day, I wanted to start talking to you a little bit more about the whole tea thing because it's a big part of me. The name of this show is Tuesday Tea because tea is part of my routine every day. It's part of my morning routine. It's part of my daily routine. And not only because of the health benefits of tea, it's just the sense of something warm in my hands, the sense of something that I know it's helping me. I feel like I'm taking care of myself. So when I decided to do this show, which is on decision making, I was thinking, okay, so what tea am I going to have and what am I going to talk about it? And I thought, well, when it comes to decision making, you kind of have to have a peaceful mind. You kind of have to be out of your head and inside your body because, well, that's a tip at the end of the show. So I decided to talk about the chamomile tea, which is something that I never thought I'd be talking about. It is probably the first tea that I ever had when I was a child. Back home in the Dominican Republic, we have a lot of natural herbal teas, and chamomile was a go-to to get me to nap. Chamomile is a herbal tea, and it helps you just slow down at the end of the day or whenever it is that you take it. I love it for naps just now as I'm an older person. And pretty much what it does is that it stabilizes your system. It is great if you're a lady and you're watching this, you want chamomile tea to deal with some pain, discomfort. It's a muscle relaxer. So if you want more information of this, just Google it, start having some chamomile tea, just chill. It is super awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna go right ahead and start. Hi to whoever showed up, just say hello on the comments. And we're gonna talk about decision making. So if you join me at any point, just say hello, and I'll be more than happy to just chit-chat with you. I am getting in the vibe of wanting to, coach some people live. So if you watch this, just don't miss me. Okay, so decision making. Why I decided to do a show on decision making. Wow, let me get a sip here. Well, right now, what I help a lot of women is get out of their own head and start making some really healthy and useful decisions for their lives. But I notice that there's a struggle that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to making decisions, okay? So what is making a decision? Making a decision is choosing between two options or multiple options. But some people find it really hard. Some people find it hard not only to make the decision, but they feel scared that they're going to make the wrong decision. If you feel scared about making the wrong decision, just let me know because I'm there with you. It's something that happens to all of us, okay? But there's something really important. Hi, Shihila, my love. There's something really important that you need to know in order to start transitioning into a more stable decision-making process. And it is self-awareness, okay? So the first thing that you want to know is how do you react to decision-making, okay? It's not the same for everyone, and we all have our defaults, okay? So what is your natural reaction? There are three very specific reactions that most of us have. In my case, I've gone through at least, hi, Anne, my love. In my case, I've gone through at least two. There's one that I'm never going to go into, but I am definitely up for letting you know, just in case you identify, okay? So the first thing that you need to know is identify how do you react to decision making. So once a decision is presented to you, something that you have to decide between, how do you react? And after you identify that, you need to identify what is the reward in that reaction and what is the price that you're paying for that reaction. Okay? So yes, there is always a reward and there is always a price that you're paying for the way you react to your outside circumstances. So let's go over some of the normal, regular reactions to decision making. The first one, if you deal with anxiety, you would probably be very familiar with this one, is avoidance. Running like hell away from making that decision, ignoring it until it is too late. If you can identify with this, give me a thumbs up, give me a hells yeah, because trust me, I've been there. That used to be me until probably my 25th birthday, when I decided to get my shit together. So if you're familiar with this, pretty much it looks like you have to make a decision, you have to take action on something, but you avoid it and procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated until it's too late. And you either lose the opportunity to actually make a decision and have an incidence in the outcome, or you were pushed into making a decision. Okay? So, yep, and sister, I feel ya. You're 100% there. So, if you're there, then we need to identify, okay, so what is the reward in this thing? What is the reward I get from procrastinating making a decision? What is the reward I get from ignoring and living in la-la land for so long until it's too late? The reward is simple. Avoiding responsibility. Okay? It is just feeling that whatever it is that's going to happen is going to be out of your hands. So it's not going to be your fault. It's avoiding the responsibility for the outcome of your life. Now, the price to pay for that is a complete lack of power, okay? I just want you to understand this. Responsibility is the total opposite of power. Responsibility and power are the exact same thing, okay? Lack of responsibility, not having responsibility, not knowing how to respond to the things that go on in your life is a lack of power. But you want to make sure that if you're the person that runs away from making decisions, to know what is your reward. Your reward is feeling like, okay, so it's not my fault because I didn't do anything about it. Whereas you're losing power every time you leave a decision up to chance. Okay? Now, there's the second way to respond, and that was me after my 25th birthday. Okay? So it's the hasty, face first, jumping into a decision. Okay? It's like, I'm not even gonna look at the options. That's what I want. I don't want to know the options. Pretty much that was me until probably 2 weeks ago, to be honest. And I still fall into that pattern. It's really easy for me because I am a very action-taking person, but it's not always good for the results that I want. Once again, what I am doing in this case, my reward is feeling like a success, is not having to deal with a lot of things up front. But the price that I pay for that is having to deal with way more things in the back end of things. Because I feel like a success now, but then I'm going to have to start seeing the results and to start seeing the consequences of my decision when I wasn't even prepared for it. Okay? So if you're a person that gets a rush out of making a decision, and that's why you make decisions every day, and let me tell you, you do make a decision every day, every second of your life. Just watching this is a decision that you're making. But if you like those conscious decisions, if you look for them and search for them, just think about that feeling that you get from like, yeah, I made it, I'm moving on, but also all the time that's consumed in the consequence aftermath, okay? So that is the second one. The first one is avoidance. The first way we react to decision making is avoidance. The second way we react to decision making is hasty decision making. And the third way, which is the one that I've never felt identified with, but I have a ton of friends and a ton of clients that do, and I know how hard it is for them when they have to face this, it is analysis paralysis. Okay, so what is this? If you're the type of person that needs all of the information in the world in order to make a decision, if you need all of the options in the world in order to make a decision, and yet you can't make a decision for the life of you, you probably fall under this category. So let me know if you're one of those people, because I might not identify with you, but I know the pain that comes with feeling powerless and paralyzed in front of a decision you have to make. So if you're in the analysis paralysis, here are your reward and here's your price. So your reward for analyzing everything, for getting everything down in paper, for getting all of the information is a sense of control, a sense that nothing can go wrong. That is what you do. You make sure that nothing can go wrong at the moment of you making a decision. But what happens is the price that you pay is that most likely you won't be able to make a decision. You waste a lot of time and resources, and you will never be happy with the decision that you make because there's always so many variables and there's no real guarantee. So you're always thinking about that other option that you didn't take that could have maybe been better. And what happens with analysis paralysis sometimes is that you make a decision, then you take it back, then you make another decision, then you take it back, and you are left in a state of perfect incompletion. Nothing can go wrong because you've never finished anything. So if you relate to this, trust me, you're not alone, but you can get out of that stupid cycle because I'm sorry, it's so stupid. There is so much power in making decisions and deciding what you want for your life. And that is what I want to talk to you about. After you identify these three things, and let me tell you, you probably have already seen a pattern. Talking about avoidance, talking about facing things head on without thinking, and talking about analysis paralysis, what does that make you think? Flight, fight, or freeze. That's the way we react to everything, even something as simple as decision making. And I know it feels monumental now, but trust me, at the end of this talk, you're gonna feel hopefully a lot lighter about it. Okay, so I've already told you the three more normal, natural ways for you to respond to decision making, but I have a fourth one, and this fourth one has made all the difference for me. It is seriously the take that I've taken. We've all done it. It happens. It depends on how monumental the decision is. Anne is wondering, well, maybe I have all three of them. It depends on the decision. So what I'm proposing to you today is to shift. There is a conscious way to make a decision that is not instinctual. Or instinctive? Instinctive. The reason why I say this is because our instinct is supposed to keep us alive. That is what flight, fight, and freeze does for us. It's biological. That is our response. It comes from our core genes, but it does not come from our intuition. It does not come from our know-how of the world. So what I'm proposing to you today, that you start taking an authentic approach to decision making. Start taking an authentic approach to decision making. Now, this has made a difference for me since I decided to move from one country to another. Since I decided to start a business. Every day I decide to start a new venture. Every day I say yes or no to something. It comes from a place of authenticity. Now let me tell you what that means. And I'm going to have a sip of tea right now. Okay. What this means is that you are making a decision based on your honest to God wants. Okay? It's not based on outside perceptions. It's not based on inside fears. It's based on your wants, on how do you want to feel. Remember that I always talk to you about, you need to know how you want to feel at the end of everything you embark on, whether it's the year, the month, the day, whether it's going to the movies. You make a decision. You decide to go to the movies based on how you want to feel at that moment. It's not any different for the other bigger decisions in your life, okay? So this is what you want to make sure you are doing. You need to first get that awareness and start questioning yourself. Why am I doing this? Why am I avoiding this? Second, don't do it on your own. Ask somebody. Tell somebody that this is a decision that you need to make, okay? Give yourself a timeline. Okay, don't get yourself off the hook. Don't get yourself off the hook. Make sure that you are setting yourself up for actually making this decision. Now, what's it going to actionably take of you is going to take of you to see all the options. Unlike the hasty people, and unlike the people that avoid it, you are going to see all the potential options. If you're one of those people that likes to do worst case scenario, I invite you to do best case scenario. What's the best thing that can happen if you make this decision? If you choose, let's say, okay, so I'm going to give you an example. And I think I've talked about this example before, but it's really, really critical to this conversation. So a few months ago, potentially 6 months ago, I was faced with a decision to go to a conference out of town, investing some money and working on myself for, I think, 2 to 3 days. And it was also working on my business. So I had a decision to make. I stayed home and worked on my business and invested that money into my business, or I went out there and dedicated my time and figure out what was out there for me. I had no idea what was gonna happen. Okay, so that was my decision: stay or go. I honest to God procrastinated that decision for at least 2 months because it happens to all of us. And again, this is gonna take some practice. So what happened? I made the decision. Eventually, I went, and I'm gonna tell you how I went, how I went about it. First of all, I identified that I was procrastinating the decision. I needed to make it, okay? I was avoiding it, but I also knew that if I went head first into it, I would probably regret it. But because at the end, whatever result I would have gotten would have come with the feeling of maybe I didn't look at the full picture, okay? So I gathered both of my options. I looked at the pros and cons, worst case scenarios and best case scenarios, but then I kept the best case scenario, okay? Because this is the trick, okay? Listen to me on this one. It doesn't matter what decision you make. It truly doesn't. It doesn't matter what decision you make. What matters is the attitude that you make the decision with. Okay, so I had my 2 options there. I had a decision to make, and I knew that no matter what I did, something good was going to happen. I could actually stay and bust my ass for 3 days and get new clients, or I can go out there and get new ideas for my business. Okay, but the mentality was, it doesn't matter what I pick, it's going to be okay. Because it always is. People that are good at making decisions know that it doesn't matter what you pick. The result is going to depend on how you show up for yourself. Okay? But of course, it sounds very simple. Oh, it doesn't really matter. There's another thing that you need to develop after you understand that no matter what you pick, it's a matter of attitude. You need to develop believe and trust your intuition. So you know how I mentioned instinct and how it's built to keep you safe? Your intuition is built to allow you to thrive. Call it your inner voice, call it whatever you want, the voice of God. It doesn't really matter, but it's there. And some of us are very close to it, and some of us have ignored it for a long time. If you want to be more proactive, if you want to feel more comfortable with the decisions that you make, you need to start getting in tune with your intuition. Now, you can start with a spiritual practice, you can start with journaling, you can start with asking yourself questions every now and then, just stopping and asking, okay, so what do I want? Why am I doing this? There are many ways that you can do it, but it is important that you do it. The way I made that decision ultimately on whether I wanted to go or stay was through asking for a sign, okay? And I'm going to give you the scientific facts about signs, because it's not only the juju and the, oh my God, you believe in God, you believe in the universe, and whatnot. This is the important thing. So what I did, I was on my way to Nashville on a wedding trip with my husband, and I asked, and I pretty much on the plane, I asked the universe or whatever it is that I believe in. Sometimes it has a name, sometimes it doesn't. The energy, whatever. I asked the universe, if I need to go on this trip, please show me my sign. A lot of you know my sign. My sign is a fox. So the basis for me to ask this sign is that it can't be a fox that I already own, and it has to show up magically. So if I were to go to that conference, I needed to see my fox. Okay, lo and behold, 10 minutes after we landed in Nashville, we're going to get our car, and on the corner of the rental space, there's a store called the Snooty Fox, with a fox wearing a frag and a top hat. Holy fucking shit. Okay? So the message was loud and clear for me. It was very clear. Hi, Shanacy. It was very clear that, you know what? You're going to that conference, so I booked the flight. I paid for the hotel room. And you might be thinking, Annie, that's not a way to make a decision. It's like, seriously, what was the logic behind that? Well, first of all, I already knew that no matter what I picked, it was going to be okay. Okay, so I already knew that there was a best case scenario for whatever decision I made, right? Second of all, it is scientifical that where you put your attention, your thoughts will go. Where you have your thoughts, your attention will go. So what does this mean? I wanted to see a fox. If in my mind I would have been avoiding that thought, I wouldn't have seen that fox turning into the rental car. It's in your limbic system, here in the brain, your reticular attention system. It's there to allow you to focus in what matters to you, okay? So when I saw the fox, I knew that in my heart of hearts, I wanted to go. I knew that I was looking for that fox, and that's why I saw it, okay? So that's why I ask for signs. And I ask for signs and usually see them even when I don't ask about them, or I don't ask for them. So what happened? Same thing happened during Christmas. And this was a little weirder because it wasn't such of a turn a corner and saw the fox because I was looking for it. During the Christmas time, I had to make a decision about hiring or not hiring an assistant into my business. I knew that hiring an assistant would allow me to grow. I knew that also keeping the money would allow me to grow depending on where I put it. I went to see one of my best friends. We exchanged gifts, and she gave me a Christmas card, and of course, it had a fox on it. A beautiful fox in the amidst of snow. And it took me actually, this is a funny thing, it took me 12 hours to realize that I had gotten my sign. That's how ambivalent I was to that decision. I had not made up my mind like I did about the trip. So when I finally acknowledged that I needed an assistant, I saw the fox that had been sitting on my table for almost a full day. Okay? So this is what I want you to get really clear when it comes to making decisions. You want to make sure that you acknowledge your reaction. It's visceral, it's instinctive, it's a way of your body and your mind to protect you, and it's not wrong, okay? But you want to make sure that the reward you're getting is not lower than the price you're paying. Because right now, you're staying into that reaction because the price you're paying is very low compared to the reward you're getting, okay? So make sure that you make that balance. So you have to think, what am I gonna get? What is the ultimate price? What is the ultimate reward of shifting my behavior? And the ultimate reward is power. When you make decisions about your life, you take your power back every single time. Okay? You want to make this, I want to make this really clear. When you make a decision, you are responding rather than reacting. And when you respond, you are powerful. Okay? So stay with me on that. The reward from shifting your decision-making pattern is power. Okay? Now, how do you shift this decision-making pattern? You start creating awareness about how you react to decision-making, and then you start developing a new attitude, and an attitude of everything is going to be okay. And I know it sounds very hippie-ish, but it's true. It doesn't really matter what decisions you make in your life. Who you are while you're making that decision, how you face the consequences of that decision is what's going to determine whether the outcome will serve you or not. okay? So you want to be really, I want you to be really, really clear on this, because the responsibility that you use to face the consequences of your decisions is what's going to determine the outcome, not anything else, okay? Another thing that you want to do to shift your patterns around is start trusting, hearing, and acting according to your intuition. Now, your intuition usually does not act in fear. I actually believe that our intuition has no fear. Your intuition will not point you into a place of fear. It will point you into a new opportunity, if anything else, okay? It will not talk you into doing something because you're afraid. It will talk you into doing or not doing something because it serves you the best. So always ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What is my ultimate feeling? What is it that I'm searching for? Okay? And if anything else fails, like you can write for this, you can call a friend for this, you can meditate for this. If everything else fails, ask for a sign. Whatever comes up in your mind right now that you think it's a good sign for you, that's your sign. Don't overthink it. It doesn't have to be anything completely special. Ask for a sign and see what happens. I promise you that you will see it when your attention is pointing you to the right direction, when your attention is pointing you to the right decision, okay? So just to close up, a few practical tips on decision making. Lower your options. If you have too many options, chances are it's going to be really, really hard for you to make a decision. That is why the whole concept of wardrobe capsules is really popular. That is why minimalism is really popular now, because the least decisions you have to make in the day, the least energy you have to put into every decision you make, okay? Or the more energy you have for the decisions that you have to make, okay? So whatever can simplify your life today. Maybe in my case was cutting my hair, creating a capsule. Some people just decide that they're going to wear a uniform every day, meal prepping. Whatever is going to save you energy in the long run when it comes to making decisions, do that, please. Okay? That is one powerful tip. And also, just in case, when it's time to make a decision, have some chamomile tea, you know? Sometimes you just need to chill the fuck down before you make a hard decision. And search for support. If you're feeling anxious about making a decision, if you do not know what decision to make, tell people that you have a decision to make, but don't ask for advice. That is the final tip. Never ask for advice on what you need to do. Ask for information to form your decision, but don't ask for advice because it's going to hinder your relationships, okay? I hate when people ask me for advice because first, I know that they're not going to follow it, but if they do follow it, whatever the consequence is going to be my fault, not theirs, which even though they heard me rather than ignored me. So don't ask for advice. Ask for information. Make sure that you have all the information you need to make a good decision, but don't get stuck on the information, okay? Because it doesn't matter what decision you make, it's going to be okay. Woo! I extended myself today, but I really, really love this topic. If you have anything to say about it, just drop a comment. If you have any questions right now, just let me know. I'm reading it. It might take a little second because my internet is not the fastest. If you want any more information on tea, let me know. I'll PM you. I'm kind of psyched about tea lately, and you're going to see a lot more of that because it's part of my lifestyle. You're going to hear a lot more about CrossFit too. Major announcements or big announcements at the end. The book club is coming. Make sure that you sign up for it. If you don't have information on the book club, just let me know. I'll send it to you, or join my group, Untamed Woman. The information is on the pinned post there. It's a really cool group of women. I am looking to really get into the nitty-gritty of the book Extreme You with you, because it's really all about being the most you can be. And you know, I'm all about that shit. And it's also written by a woman, which is a complete plus. Okay, everyone, thank you for watching. I am really excited about this and hearing how this helped you. So if you have any decision to make anytime soon, let me know if this serves you. And if you have any questions, also let me know. Have a great day.